Have you ever noticed something strange? The happiest man in the room is rarely the one trying the hardest to impress everyone. He's usually the one who stopped caring about things that used to consume him. Not because he became cold, not because he gave up, because life finally taught him the difference between what deserves his energy and what only steals it. That lesson doesn't arrive when you're young. It usually arrives after disappointment, after betrayal, after years of trying to make everyone happy. And once it arrives, you begin living in a completely different way. But here's the strange part. Most people misunderstand this transformation. They think you've become distant. They think you've lost your ambition. Some even think you've stopped caring about life itself. They're wrong. You've simply stopped caring about the wrong things. And that changes everything. At 56 years old, Daniel looked like a man who had won. He owned a successful construction company outside Nashville. His house was paid for. His 2 children had graduated from college. People admired him. His neighbors respected him. On paper, he had built the kind of life most men dream about. But every night, he sat alone in his living room after everyone had gone to bed, wondering why success still felt so heavy. His phone never stopped ringing. Employees needed decisions. Friends wanted favors. Relatives asked for money. Clients demanded more. Everyone wanted something. Very few simply wanted him. For years, Daniel believed this was the price of being successful. So he kept saying yes. He attended every gathering, solved every problem, answered every late-night call, tried to be the dependable man everyone could count on. He told himself that one day, when everything was finally under control, he would relax. But that day never came, because every problem he solved created 2 more. Every expectation he fulfilled created another expectation. His life wasn't becoming easier, it was becoming louder. Then something happened he never expected. One Friday afternoon, after canceling yet another fishing trip with an old friend because of work, Daniel received a message. His friend had suffered a heart attack that morning. He survived, barely. Daniel drove to the hospital with a knot in his stomach. As he sat beside his friend's bed, neither man spoke for several minutes. Finally, his friend smiled weakly and said, "You know what's funny? I spent 40 years chasing things I thought mattered. Lying here, I can't remember half of them, but I remember every trip I never took, every conversation I postponed, every peaceful afternoon I traded for another meeting." Those words stayed with Daniel long after the hospital lights disappeared behind him. For the first time in decades, he asked himself a question he had been avoiding. Who am I trying so hard to satisfy? That question unsettled him, because he didn't have an answer. Maybe you've asked yourself something similar. Maybe you've worked harder than anyone around you, only to feel strangely empty afterward. Maybe you've spent years carrying responsibilities that nobody else noticed. Maybe you've become so busy proving your value that you've forgotten what actually makes you feel alive. Or maybe this is happening to you right now. Most people believe caring about everything makes you responsible. They're wrong. It often makes you exhausted. Human beings are wired to seek acceptance. Long before modern life, belonging meant survival. Being accepted by your tribe increased your chances of living another day. That instinct still lives inside us, even when we no longer need it. That's why criticism hurts more than it should. That's why rejection lingers. That's why so many men quietly carry the impossible burden of trying to keep everyone happy. Because deep down, part of the brain still whispers, if they don't approve of you, you're in danger. But modern life has changed. The danger isn't rejection anymore. The danger is spending your entire life chasing approval that never truly satisfies. Approval is addictive. You receive it. It feels good. Then you need more. A promotion, another compliment, another achievement, another person telling you that you're enough. The cycle never ends. And without realizing it, many men build their entire identity around being useful. Useful at work, useful in the family, useful to friends, useful to everyone, except themselves. Daniel slowly began noticing something uncomfortable. The more available he became, the less people appreciated his availability. Not because they were cruel, because human nature adapts. People quickly become accustomed to what is always there. The man who always says yes eventually hears fewer thank yous. The man who solves every crisis becomes expected to solve the next one. Generosity without boundaries slowly transforms into obligation. and obligation quietly replaces appreciation. That realization hurt, but it also opened a door, because for the first time, Daniel began wondering if the life he wanted had been waiting behind one simple word. No, not anger, not selfishness, just a calm, respectful no. He didn't know it yet, but learning when to stop caring wasn't about caring less. It was about finally caring about the right things. And that realization would challenge everything he believed about success, relationships, and even himself. The first thing Daniel changed wasn't his job. It wasn't his marriage. It wasn't where he lived. It was much smaller than that. The next time someone asked him to solve a problem they could solve themselves, he politely declined. The next time a client demanded an answer late on a Sunday evening, he waited until Monday morning. The next time a distant relative called only because they needed money, he listened and said no. The reactions surprised him. Some people became irritated. Some became distant. A few accused him of changing. And they were right. He had changed. For years, Daniel believed being a good man meant always being available. Now he was learning something different. Being constantly available had made him valuable, but not necessarily respected. That is one of the hardest truths a man can accept. There is a difference between being appreciated and being expected. Maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you've spent years saying yes because you feared disappointing people. Maybe you've mistaken guilt for kindness. Maybe you've confused sacrifice with love. Life has a quiet way of exposing those misunderstandings. Not through books, through experience. The second conflict appeared where Daniel least expected it, inside his own family. When he stopped fixing every problem immediately, people became uncomfortable. Not because they stopped loving him, because they had become accustomed to a version of him that always carried the weight. Human beings naturally adjust to whatever is consistently available. When that changes, the relationship must change too. That transition often feels painful. But pain does not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes it means something unhealthy is ending. Most people think boundaries push people away. They're wrong. Healthy boundaries reveal which relationships can survive honesty. Weak relationships depend on unlimited access. Strong relationships respect limitations. That lesson transformed the way Daniel saw every connection in his life. Then came the moment that changed everything. Months after leaving the hospital, Daniel finally took the fishing trip he had postponed for years. No phone, no laptop, no meetings, just water, silence, and an old friend. Hours passed without either man saying much. As the sun disappeared behind the lake, Daniel quietly admitted, "I spent half my life trying to make everyone happy." His friend smiled. "And did it work?" Daniel laughed. "No." His friend looked across the water and replied, "That's because happiness was never your job." Those words stayed with him, because they exposed something deeper. Many men secretly believe they are responsible for everyone else's emotional comfort. The family, the employees, the friends, the neighbors, the children. They carry invisible expectations until they no longer remember where those expectations came from. And slowly, they disappear inside responsibilities that never truly belong to them. Here comes the pattern interrupt. The people who become upset when you protect your peace are often the people who benefited most from your lack of boundaries. That truth is uncomfortable, but it explains so much. Not everyone resists your growth. Some simply resist losing access to the version of you that never said no. Maybe you've already noticed this. Maybe certain relationships changed the moment you stopped over-explaining. Maybe people who praised your kindness suddenly questioned your character. Maybe your silence made others uncomfortable because they had grown accustomed to your constant availability. If that's happening, it doesn't automatically mean you're becoming selfish. It may mean you're becoming healthy. This is where Stoic wisdom quietly enters. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire filled with criticism, politics, impossible expectations, and constant demands. Yet in his private reflections, he returned again and again to one simple principle. You cannot control what others expect from you. You can only control how faithfully you live according to your own values. That lesson becomes even more meaningful later in life. Because many men eventually discover that trying to satisfy everyone is not virtue. It is exhaustion. Seneca warned that people waste enormous portions of their lives worrying about opinions that will be forgotten tomorrow. He understood something modern psychology continues to confirm. Attention is temporary. Character is lasting. The approval you chase today often disappears tomorrow. But the peace you build inside yourself can remain for the rest of your life. Epictetus offered perhaps the most freeing perspective of all. If something outside your control has the power to steal your peace, then it has become your master. Think about that. How many men surrender their emotional freedom to criticism, to social expectations, to strangers' opinions, to family guilt, without ever realizing it? Daniel finally understood. His life became better, not because the world became kinder. It didn't. People still judged him. Work still created pressure. Unexpected problems still appeared. The difference was that he stopped handing every problem permission to enter his mind. That was the freedom he had been searching for all along. The big payoff is this. Life gets better when you stop caring about the wrong things. Not because you stop loving, not because you stop trying, not because you become emotionally numb. Life gets better because your attention finally returns to where it belongs. Your health, your peace, your family, your purpose, your character. The opinions that once kept you awake become background noise. The arguments that once consumed your weekends no longer deserve your time. The expectations that once controlled your decisions slowly lose their power. And almost without noticing, you begin living instead of performing. That is not giving up, that is growing up. Peace becomes valuable when approval becomes exhausting. A man who protects his energy protects his future. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every expectation deserves your obedience. The strongest men are not the ones who carry everything. They are the ones who finally learn what to put down. One day, you stop chasing every opportunity. You stop explaining every decision. You stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You stop measuring your worth by how useful you are to everyone else. And when that day comes, life doesn't become smaller. It becomes lighter. It becomes clearer. It becomes yours again. If life has already taught you this lesson, share your experience below. Someone else may need the wisdom you earned.